Talent is everything. And boy, we got a lot in this room, so we're lucky today, but we can even be better. The second thing you really need to do to make innovation happen, to really make Stone Soup, is you have to enlist deep and diverse domain experts.
I had the fun opportunity of actually curating the team that was going to work with the DSO. So with them, they were definitely looking for something digital, something cutting edge, and something with a bit of a sustainable business focus, but that didn't necessarily drive us to look for people that had experience in that space. So we had people from engineering to business to design, young undergraduate students, all the way up to very experienced professors and industry professionals. All across the board, we were able to tap into the idea of what could we offer the Detroit Symphony Orchestra.
So the notion is, given what you're trying to do, we have to have expertise in forming the team and expertise on the team itself to do this. So let's go around and what kind of people do we need?
Who's done this well with regard to advising, right? How's Netflix making it happen?
Who's our audience? We need somebody who's good at analytics.
And then what is it that they like? What sites do they go to? How
Somebody
do
who
they
maybe
use...
create some profiles of like our users.
Innovation really happens at the edges of disciplines. It doesn't happen inside of it. If it did happen inside, it would happen with standard operating procedures. So you've got to have somebody who maybe has a background in finance, and they're talking to somebody who's a background in media. They're talking to somebody who's a background in classical music. But I want to add something that people get wrong all the time. It's not an amateur sport. If you're trying to make a heart valve or a medicine or make something happen with the classical music audience, somebody actually needs to know their part of that puzzle.
The newspaper industry has gone through something very similar to this. So somebody from like maybe the New York Times, where their market has gone from distribution to online, would be a great advisor to have.
The music industry overall is struggling in this area. They also are well versed in what it means to make money on a product that people expect to be free. And I think that ultimately that's what you need to be looking for.
Innovation is not about alignment. Alignment is the death of innovation. What you need to have is constructive conflict.
To me, you could easily have like a person who's like a front-end developer and they kind of do both.
So I want you to kind of point me in the direction I'm going to figure it out. The younger generation learn it from each other.
And that's why we have like TEDx receptions or TEDx after party, because I really care how you started and why you started. I want to talk to you for an hour and then tell my friends.
It's because when people don't agree, we have to come up with new ideas, synthetic ideas, hybrid ideas. So the notion of we're all getting along and we're all moving the same direction, that's great if you want efficiency, but if you want breakthrough innovation, you need to have deep and diverse domain experts with some polite pushing and shoving. So somebody in your group is going to say something that's really crazy or stupid. Your response has to be, that's interesting, write it down. The third step is the step that most people associate with jumpstarting innovation or making Stone Soup, and that is taking multiple shots on goal. I think it's a great metaphor, because if you like to play soccer, you'll notice whoever wins the game is whoever gets more shots on goal. So the key is not to avoid failure. The key is to accelerate it. In the innovation game, most of what you do isn't going to work. So what you want to do is we want to take a very wide array of approaches, give it very little money and very little time, because what you're trying to get is real information about what actually is going to work. So you're moving beyond the theoretical. So step one, we're going to have to create lots of ideas.
Okay, so it's a reality show.
Backstage at Orchestra Hall. Oh yeah, the reality show.
24/7 on-demand player.
Maybe it's like you see your motions and the real conductor's motions are going on, so you can see where you messed up.
You need to start doing things to make innovation happen. So if you just plan, everyone's stuck in the planning cycle, people aren't doing things. They're not prototyping, they're not testing markets, they're not seeing the reality of the situation. You've got some really good ideas here. They're not fully formed, some of them are a little bit woobly, some of them need a little more work, but you've got some really good ideas here. Here's the next step. I'm going to have each team pick one idea from the opposite team. And what you're going to come up with is you're going to take these two ideas and you're going to build a new idea. You're going to create a different idea. It's going to have a baby. You're going to get together and have a baby, is what you're going to do.
So if you gave them all Google Glass that were linked to one another.
Oh, that is so cool.
So like you have no idea who you're partnered with, but like you're seeing the stage, but then also seeing it from their perspective while they're on stage.
And that gives people a reason to keep coming back. You know, so we have 30 concerts and they are constantly rerunning. They can come back and watch that same concert. They log in and they say, oh, this is playing, but I can do this time.
I think almost all of the end projects were these kinds of experiments. So think about it for a minute. They're going to try and create like a Disneyland experiment.
We would like to welcome all of you to DSO Land, the musical adventure park.
DSO Atrium could be the Vimeo for the high arts. It's a place that really fosters the classical arts.
Because there is no data on the future where innovation happens, there's a lot of ambiguity. There's a lot of things we need to learn very, very quickly. So it's very important that these don't have too long of a horizon and that they're not too expensive and they're not too Homeric, right? And if they are very large projects, it's important to chunk them down into manageable segments so that you can really see what's going to work and not work. So this isn't theoretical. Who wants to work on this experiment? So the object is we're going to move from doing something theoretically to actually doing it. I love football. I love Michigan football. And I love the idea of there's a halftime and you take all your players and you go back to the locker room and you say, okay guys, what do we need to do more of? What do we need to do less of? What do we need to start? What do we need to stop? What do we need to continue doing?